So we did $150,000 over the weekend.
Did you always want creative fulfillment?
I always wanted creative fulfillment, and I thought the only way to truly get it was through art. And then somewhere along the line, after being broke for like a decade, I started working on some business stuff, and I was getting creative fulfillment from doing the writing and the designing and stuff. For a lot of people out there, knowing that there's a way where you can have your integrity, do creative work that's fulfilling, but also make a lot of money in the process so that you have a sense of freedom and that pressure of everyday living is taken off you. Isn't that the dream that we're all trying to get to? If you're a creator and you have like an acumen for business, or like if you romanticize brand experience, if you like have that feeling with different brands and you enjoy it, then I feel like Ecom is such a great place to express that part of you. Let's go, Teresa! There's your B-roll.
I love it.
So I think everybody that has a brand is applying their creativity to it, but it's just like, how far can you go?
Okay.
Like, how far can you actually go into your own creativity, like your own talent, your own taste, to express the brand in its most unique and authentic way? If you don't do that, then you're never going to be able to produce good enough work. You're always going to be copying people.
What does that look like? Like going all in on your creativity? What does that actually look like? Like what are the kind of results of that?
It means like complete freedom to try things that probably don't belong. If you have some intuition to try something, like you see a movie and you want to take some of that inspiration from that movie and put it into an advertisement, then you trust that and you follow it and you keep sharpening your sword.
Yeah, cool.
So that's what I'm saying when I say like you can go all the way. And then imagine how good it feels when it's you, the person who saw this film, you took inspiration from it, you put it into an advertisement, and now it's your #1 ad making sales. Like that's completely your experience. It's your expression. It came from whatever was out there that gave you that first bit of inspiration. And now you're living a life true to yourself in a way. Whereas if you're stuck waiting for at Ecom Don 25 to give you permission based on the most recent trends and tactics on how to create ads or how to do emails, then you're always at the mercy, like you're always a step behind. In the 10 years that I was broke and struggling to be an entrepreneur, I thought you had to be either one creative or one entrepreneur. I didn't think you could be both. And so it wasn't until I started applying all of my creativity unapologetically into my business and doing things that I didn't need permission for that the business started to succeed. The example of that is the way that we write our emails. That all comes from taking inspiration from novels or from screenwriting and story elements and putting them inside of emails. And so that became fun to me. It became fun to write stories through our brand voice. And it wasn't until we did that did we start to become successful. And so then it was like, wow, I'm getting money, I'm no longer broke, and I'm actually doing something that is fulfilling me on a day-to-day level. And I think that's important. I think that's important for people to understand that you can do that. A friend of mine is like a top tier filmmaker and like makes these advertisements for high fashion brands and Cartier and Gucci and stuff like that. And he's also working on a bag brand for men. to be able to have a cool bag where you can walk around and like feel like it's practical but also stylish. You know, I was telling him the other day that it's like you could make your whole brand around narrative filmmaking. You could make 3-minute videos that appeal to the people that you're going for, and you could make these sick movies, and you know, the bag is in those movies, and that is your way of being like creatively satisfied, but also it'll have the most effect on your business. It's like understanding the nature of your own creativity, like what do you actually like to do, what's your medium, what are you interested in, and then like doubling down on that so hard that your true essence comes out, like your true creativity comes out through the work. And then maybe I need to say something on, I know I'm jumping ahead, but maybe I need to say something on the difference between artistic expression and design intention. And so whenever you have a business, like you have an intention. Like if you do an ad, your intention is to get a click. If you have a sales page, your intention is to get a purchase, right? So there's intention behind that, whereas expression and art is like, I'm expressing myself through this medium, and if people like it, they like it, and it's open to interpretation maybe, and all of that stuff. But the intention of the art is to express yourself in the most truthful way, whereas with design, you might have artistic flair in there, but it is subservient to the intention. And I think knowing those two things helped me just be like, okay, I can work on my business and put all of my creative juice into it and all of my natural flair, but that is subservient to the intention of the project that I'm working on. And that took pressure off me, because that meant that I could just go through the world and have a project that wasn't so serious as my ultimate expression in my art. You know, like that's a lot. You know, that's why people who are doing art are often pretentious, is because they care so much about expressing their own identity perfectly through the work. It's good for a creative to have this business project, because then it allows you to have fun creatively, but it's not like the stakes aren't so high. And that's just from my perspective. But you might argue that, well, the stakes are even higher because you need to put food on the table. You know, so it's like, it's just whatever is in here for you.
Yeah, cool. No, it seems like it makes perfect sense though. Like, it doesn't have to be your overall expression as a human. It can just be an exercise of whatever it is that you like doing.
Well, that's why I love brand so much, because the brand has its own identity, and your job as a creative is to express that brand. Whereas when it's yourself and you're doing art, it's like you're expressing you, and there's all ego and there's all of this stuff, and that's really weighted. So yeah, that's cool, like do that on the side. But your job when you're in this realm is to focus on your brand and expressing your brand. That's why I have 4 brands. A 5th one coming soon, is because these are all like little parts of me or some of my beliefs put into an entity that I can serve. And there's a people that connect with that I can serve. And so that's a little bit less egotistical, a little bit less heavy, it's a little bit less pressure. And so I'm getting my creative fulfillment every day. Like I go to bed every night empty. I got nothing left to say every night. That's something that I was always struggling with. Like I was always going to bed and feeling like I kind of wasted a day. Like fuck, something just, you know, I think I just did the same thing as yesterday, or I didn't quite express myself. But now, since the videos and since we've got 4 brands and we've got people in here and everyone's creating stuff and I'm kind of orchestrating, now I'm in this position through making enough money to where I can empower people like you and Shayla and Robin and all of these freelancers that are coming in and doing photos to express the vision of the brand. And that's fulfilling in its own right. So like I get to play my little instrument over here, but I'm also orchestrating. So it just depends on what you want. But for me, I've never been more fulfilled creatively in my life, and that's come through financial success. But the age-old narrative is that if you're creative, you should be a broke, struggling artist. You should have a bad relationship with money or a bad relationship with selling. But it doesn't need to be that way. It's just a bunch of victimized communists saying that to you. You just do your own thing and put food on the table and look after the people around you and allow them to have good healthcare and healthy food and go to a good school and live in a nice area. That's the reality of what's on the other side when you accept that this is the system you're in, and it's like your job to do the best you can.